Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to some more Rune Factory 2 Watering Can. Only it has been so long since I last played. But I'm back from the vacation and everything is fine. I survived. And that's basically all that there is to say about that. It is flippin' bloody 8 in the morning for no particular reason. And I figure, you know what's fun? Let's record some Rune Factory hours before I actually need to. Because today I have, like, plans to do stuff and things. Cinnamon, more than likely, needs to go to the vet because he's been having issues. I need to call, like, the office because my rent's going up, apparently. And I tried calling the vet and the office yesterday, and the office person, there's one person who handles everyone's rent going up and was busy, so couldn't talk to them. So yeah, so instead I have to make those same calls again today, and like every day. And the vet's office was of course fully booked because, hey, they are busy. Lots of people to talk to, lots of animals to take care of. So I'm just here, doing my thing, recording some runes. Yeah, I get back, have to make some calls, have to arrange some plans. I had the board game meeting last night, Monday night. And it's like, oh yeah, well, we couldn't finish our, several hours long game in the hour and a half we had. Not even bloody close to it. So let's all meet up again tomorrow at noon. I'm there like, how can I express to you that I really don't want to meet at noon, but also not ruin your excitement and everything? It's like, so get up about 6 in the morning, not because I set an alarm, but because I accidentally fell asleep before midnight. Not that far before midnight, I think. Woke up at 6 and I figured might as well just stay awake. I'm here and I have a few hours. In addition to the 2 new phone calls I have to make, digging out my razor so I can shave again, because I brought that along and didn't use it. And having to shower again. Might as well also do some recordings, because I have to do those all as well. Eh. Let's harvest some of these here animals. And it's like, yeah, sure, so spend about 10 days with the family. You'd think I'd have some stories and stuff to tell, but we really didn't do a whole lot. I mean, I tried to get family doing stuff, but it's like, no. For the most part, everyone just wanted to sit and try to watch TV, even though the place didn't have regular television, so basically just watched movies all the time, or whatever. I read like one of the like 10 books that I packed, and a few chapters on the second one, but then that was on like day 2, and then I didn't really get much of a chance to beat the rest of it because I was reading it out loud to my little brother, and he was busy playing with the stick he found for most of the week, and just sigh. But whatever, I have to report to Moon Factory, so here I am, and I have to get right back into the swing of, it's like, yeah, sure, I have internet now, so I can, you know, go online and do internet stuff. Yeah, I wonder how long it'll take before I actually wind up spending, like, a full day on my, you know, at home. Sunday, I got back partway through the day, so that wasn't, you know, a full day on my own. Monday, like I said, board game stuff. Tuesday, today, more board game stuff. And remember, I still have to book 2 appointments as well. So who knows when those will take place, and hopefully I can book a better appointment at, like, a good time, so I don't have to bus my cat, you know, across town or anything. Because yeah, can I have a day to myself to just finally relax? I need a vacation from that trip I spent with the family. Spend time with them with basically no internet. Wasn't exactly, you know, a holiday spa day, as it were. Okay. Oh gosh, no, wait. Okay, but this has extra. Large cheese, mayonnaise, yarn ball. Oh wait, no, shoot, I need 2 4-leaf clovers. Well, I mean, at the very least, tomorrow, I'll get that. Oh, I might as well keep grinding pharmacy levels, even though I think I have enough of this. Yes, I do. So I guess tomorrow, we sing game tomorrow, who knows how long of real time that will be. I'll finally get the chance to, finally actually make some levelizers, but until then my inventory is going to be a little bit packed. And then also buy some 4-leaf clover seeds and start planting them, and maybe put in the reformulate stuff to make them all grow slightly faster. Yeah, let's speed it up by 2 days out of 2 months of growth. You think that I have a lot to talk about after a whole month, but... a month? What? No. After a whole week, but... all I want to do is just... stay at home, deal with these new issues that are coming up, and not have to deal with more new issues for a bit. So you know another inspection is just around the corner. But hey, isn't it so great to be back here with this internet so I can go and see all the nonsense that's happening on Twitter? And people being stupid every single day? Show me a person with XXY chromosomes who doesn't have a Y chromosome, and I'll give you $1 million. And it's like... uh-huh. someone did bring up an interesting point. I mean, this was months or years ago, but just thinking about it now, why don't our IDs have a blood type on them? You think that the chance that they would help, like, say, someone gets in an accident, they need a blood transfusion, the doctor can look at the ID and see, oh, this person's A negative. I don't have to use all of the O negative blood on them. I can use this A negative blood on them. Yeah. That the chance that it would benefit people would be a lot bigger than the chance that it would be a detriment to people. Oh, I stole your ID, so now I know your blood type, so now I know that I can, you know, steal your blood, and I know exactly what to market it as to sell your blood type as. Like, one of those situations seems a heck of a lot more likely than the other. And sometimes I'm glad I'm not like a popular YouTuber, because people would absolutely take the things I say out of context and be idiots with them, because I see people being idiots on the internet all the time. Someone would be in the comments being all, but if someone's in an emergency and the paramedics aren't going to rifle through their pockets for their ID just to know what blood type to use on them, it's like, yeah, they aren't. However, after using some O negative blood on the person, and bringing them to the hospital, where they can be properly, like, assessed and whatnot, a doctor at the hospital would be able to check and see, oh, A negative. Well, we can take them off of the O negative blood and give them some A negative blood instead. But people don't like to think. That's a bit of a generalization, but I mean, again, in general, what I've seen of people on the internet, they really don't like to think. They get one idea, and they just coast on that. Oh, but you can't do this because of this reason. It's like, that reason was proven to be false 30 years ago. Well, I still believe in it. Good for you, but this isn't an anime. I don't care if you still believe. People trying to bring back leeches and stuff. It's like, there might be one case in a million where actually using leeches could be useful to someone. But with modern technology, there are better ways to do those things. Oh. And it sucks waking up so freaking early every day, too. Oh my gosh. For a whole week, I had to be up at, like, you know, 7 in the morning or something. And lots of people are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. 7 a.m. isn't that bad. I get up at 4 in the morning every day. It's like, hey, yo, I used to get up at 4 in the morning every day. Heck, I used to get up at 3 in the morning every day. I think there were times where I'd wake up at 1 in the morning so I could make it to work. It wasn't fun. I like to sleep in until like noon, but stay up until about 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, it's just a very common, like, thought for me that, like, hey, my day doesn't start until noon. It's a very common thing for me. It's like, no, just let me rest. Rest, relax. Yeah, just sleep until noon, then wake up, and then do about, you know, 14 or 15 hours of stuff. And then sleep until noon again. Mostly because Azura's been keeping me up until about 2 a.m., or at least, you know, used to. Because she's been up till about 2 a.m., even though she actually did have to get up in the morning for work. So I don't know why she was up so late. on such a regular basis, but oh well. Oh, shoot, I forgot to put the yarn back. Do-do-do-do-do. I mean, yeah. Gosh, I'm starting to turn into one of those, like, old people who just gets annoyed by everything that the youngins are doing. And people say, oh, well, look at what, like, your generation was doing back when you were our age, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I was annoyed back when my generation was doing the, lol XD so random XOXO stuff. Back 20 years ago, too. I was seriously annoyed at that, trying to have a conversation with someone. It's like, oh, hello, how are you doing? Lol XD so random, haha. It's like, okay, but can you use words? Can you use proper words? Proper sentence structure? Can you engage in a conversation? Lol XD so random, hot dog! Okay, but, like, can you use what? Like, okay, so you can use some words, but can you actually string them together to be a cohesive conversation? Umbrella, paper cats! It's like, oh, so you can't. And then people blame me for not being able to socialize with people. It's like, they're not, like, I don't know why you should get on my case for not trying to socialize with them. When, it's like, I don't know, is that just how millennials were supposed to be back in, like, high school? Like, one would go up to the other, it's like, lol, XDI, so random, umbrellas, and the other would be like, OMG, me too, paper cuts, and they just sit there and laugh because they know a few words. Yeah, it's like when someone starts learning a new language and they learn a word, so they repeat that word over and over again so they remember it. So someone might be walking by and just someone just muttering, paper clips, paper clips, paper clips, paper clips, paper clips, paper clips. And it's like, well, that's kind of random. Except the person is getting joy in it. It's like, lol, paper clips. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I was annoyed by that. I was annoyed by people doing the cinnamon challenge back in the day, because that was really dangerous. Ice bucket challenge I wasn't so annoyed by. I mean, a little bit, but not as much as the cinnamon challenge, because the ice bucket challenge, if a person does it to themselves, like if a person is able to, like, consent to it, it's not necessarily lethal to the person. If someone just dumps a bucket of ice water over some unsuspecting person, it could theoretically be lethal. Theoretically. Not likely, but it's possible. But if someone is there ready for it and they know that it won't put their, you know, nervous system into shock or whatever, like, if they know that they can handle it, then they should be able to handle it. And it's like, whatever. Cinnamon challenge can, and I'm pretty sure has flat out killed people even when they were completely ready for it, so and then of course the next generation has to come in and was it the Tide Pod challenge where people say, oh, no one's actually trying to eat Tide Pods, don't be a moron. Just because we talk about it on social media all the time and because people are well known to have the IQ of a thumbtack. It's not like people are actually doing this stupid internet challenge. They're smarter than that. It's like, no, people are not smarter than that. Like, people are not smart enough to know, hey, I shouldn't do this dumb internet challenge. Like I said, like the cinnamon challenge that people were authentically doing. Some people tried to get me to do it, and I couldn't express to them how much I did not want to do that. They're like, why? It's fun! It's fun! It's fun to watch someone suffer, so why would I want to be the one suffering? Oh, right, so you can watch and laugh as I potentially choke to death. And apparently people act... I mean, like, oh, you should believe that people are smart enough not to eat Tide Pods. People literally injected bleach and died. No, I don't think people are smart enough to not kill themselves. No, I really don't. I really don't think that. Yeah, of course, people online desperately lack the ability to understand context clues and whatnot, and now that's everybody's problem. Yeah, someone could be like playing a video game, like streaming, playing a video game, and say, like, oh gosh, the dogs are a real problem. Talking about some platformer game where, like, you know, dogs are enemies, so if you come into contact with one, your little character dies. So they say, like, oh gosh, the dogs are a real problem on this level, because there's, you know, a whole bunch of the enemies around. And so we'll take that and say, you hate dogs? And it's like... So how do you explain to someone how they can better understand context? So it seems like a lot of people, and it's like, sure, some of those people saying that, it's like, ha, you said you hate dogs, lol. I understand that you didn't actually mean like real world dogs. I just want to be a silly. I just want to be a silly and say that you did. But other people, like, some people will be really up in the arms and, like, very angry about it. Oh, well, I wasn't really angry. I was just yelling at you and saying that you should burn in hell for all eternity because you hated dogs. But I wasn't actually meaning that. It's like, no, you said it, you meant it. Oh no, it was a joke. If it was a joke, you should have put, like, /JK at the end so people understand that it was a joke. But since you're... It's like, oh well, I wrote it in a joking manner. It's like, no, you did not. If it was spoken verbally, then there would be some context to understand that you were not being serious. But you put it in text, so without any sort of a tone indicator to emphasize the fact that you were in fact simply making a joke and not being serious, the default assumption is that you are being serious. If you don't like that, well, too bad. That's what tone indicators are for. You should try using them. Or, better yet, go and get some schooling on how to actually properly convey tone in a text-based form of communication. Haven't wars been fought over, like, improperly understood messages made over text or something? I'm not, like, a history major, like, I'm not really versed in history, but I feel like that's something that a war could have been fought over at some point. Someone from one country sending a message to another country, thinking about it as a joke, but the other country takes it seriously. I know people have gotten arrested for that kind of stuff. Because they'll, like, send a text to the police saying that they're going to commit an act of terrorism, and then police officers come to their house and arrest them because they just said that they were going to commit an act of terrorism. Like... I laugh, but that's just over how stupid these people are. Be nice when I get to a game where I can buy more than just 9 of an item at a time. It really is weird getting into like a long-running game, like a Harvest Moon game, whatever, because like you start off and like you go to the store, like you walk around, you meet the people, and then you start slowly learning. It's like, oh hey, this building is a store. I can go here for like these such and such products. It's like, okay, so like there's 20 NPCs in town. There are 6 stores. The only NPCs I really have to talk to though are these 3 that run like, yeah, it's like these 2 specific stores plus like this NPC I'm trying to romance. Basically, it's like I don't actually really have to talk to anybody else. I should, and I might if I find them in passing, but I don't have to go and seek out all these people. It's like, see all these buildings? I basically don't have to go into any of these buildings ever. But like at first it's like so weird trying to navigate the maze, and eventually it's like do. Rune Factory 5, that one weird building that I think is supposed to be some sort of a shop, like has a sign out front saying it's a shop, but it's never open. It's like, yeah, no, it is open between like 3 and 4 p.m. every day. And that's the shop that's like the general goods store. What? Not general goods. Miscellaneous goods store. It's like, so I really need to be able to find this one specific store during its set hours, but it's like you don't know that to begin with. Because the guy's almost never in his store. Did I say Rune Factory 5? I think I said Rune Factory 5. Yeah, Rune Factory 5. Also applies to that one guy from Rune Factory 4. Yeah, I go up to this room and then come back. So now there's only one Scythe wielder coming after me instead of 2. Alright. Alright, guess I have to wait for noon. Get some food. And run back in here. Right, of course, obviously. And then go back to here to keep working on this. What's this doing? Halfway through. Oh gosh. Okay, whatever. Yeah, you can really tell when I have nothing to say, huh? But it's like, gotta still record this stuff. Still doing more runes. Looks like maybe next episode I'll finally get some levelizers. Make a whole batch of levelizers. And then go into the dungeon. I'm not sure if the maximum level is at just 99 in this game. So it's like I only really need like 29 levelizers. Like, internet is a cesspool, life is a cesspool, society is a cesspool. It's hard to keep on going, but sometimes something good happens. Found a coffee tycoon game, Espresso Tycoon, and yes, I do want to pronounce it espresso with an X, but I'm actively trying to avoid it. If I do pronounce it as espresso, try not to be too rough in the comments. I mean, this is coming from someone who doesn't actually know the proper pronunciation of nuclei. I see people sometimes, or hear people sometimes say, it's like, oh, you pronounce it nuclear? You're supposed to pronounce it nuclear. It's like, I'm just there like, that's the same pronunciation. It's like, no, I said nuclear, but they said nuclear. And I'm just like, no, that's literally the exact same pronunciation. It sounds the exact same. It's like, no, it's obviously different. You see, I said nuclear. I'm just there like, it's the same. But they insisted something different. I'm just like, no? Hello, cat. Oh, yeah, I know. After I finish recording this video, I have to go and call the vet's office again to be put on hold for probably another 20 minutes. Honestly, talking to someone on the phone, I used to be, like, all super against it and stuff, but I've gotten somewhat used to it. It's like, you know, just call someone up on the phone. It's like, hey, this is what I want to say. What is your answer to that? And they say, it's like, okay, how about this? It's like, boom, here's your answer to that. Like, someone had mentioned at one point that adulthood is essentially just a series of fetch quests. Like, there's a series of, like, video game quests and also, and loading zones. Loading screens, whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, like, that's kind of true, though. Yeah. You want to get a passport. How do you do this? Well, first you go online to see the walkthrough for finding a passport. You find out what building you have to go to. You go there, find the first person who works there, and ask, where do I get a passport? They say, like, 4th floor. Alright? You go to the 4th floor. Ask the first person who looks like they work there, where do I get a passport? And they say, that office. So you go to that office and ask the first person who looks like they work there, where do I get a passport? And they say, that desk. You go to the desk, find the person in there, and say, where do I get a passport? And they say, sign these forms. And then you sign the forms, and then you have the passport. Like, and it's like, okay, but yeah, no, that is kind of what it's like. Like, before I left on the trip, I had a bunch of, like, paperwork stuff to do. I remember in previous years, when I wasn't, like, certain about it, you can literally just call in. It's like, okay, it says I need X form. What is X form? It's like, it says I need proof of citizenship. It's like, can I use this as proof of citizenship? Yes. Okay. It's like, it had said that I needed, like, proof that I'm getting money on H. Was one of the things. And I thought that I could, you know, submit, like, the thing I get every month to show that I am getting money off of H. But no, I needed some other thing that I needed specifically from the H office. So the person said, it's like, okay, go downstairs, go to the office, and ask for this NEMA form. I'm like, okay. So I went, you know, downstairs, went to the H office, and said, I need this NEMA form. person said, "Oh, wait for so-and-so, because she'll be able to handle it." And it's like, okay, and I wait. Like I said, loading screens. Quests and loading screens, quests and loading screens. Quests and loading screens, and you can generally look stuff up online. You can look for walkthroughs on the internet if you are stuck. Heck, you can look for walkthroughs on the internet even if you're not stuck. They're useful, they're made to help. I have a key. How's you, my kitty meow meow? Meow. I will say, on a rather unrelated topic, having this little handheld computer was somewhat useful during the trip. I had some movies and shows and stuff saved onto it, so we got to watch some movies while we didn't have internet. We watched Atlantis, a movie I actually hadn't seen before, I think. Yeah, tell me where I can find a DVD copy of Atlantis that's not, you know, being sold for a ridiculously high price online because, hey, someone figures that they can get a lot of money off of selling old Disney movies. And specifically a version of Atlantis I can actually watch. I don't have access to a VCR anymore. I still remember visiting my grandparents and watching, like, The Simpsons on on cassette. Renting The Simpsons, like, one cassette might have, like, 3 episodes. Was it 1 episode? Or was it, like, 3 episodes? I remember that there are a few episodes I remember rather well, because I basically watched them over and over and over and over again. Because back in the day, there was really not very much to do, like, at all. So you might rent a movie and then just watch it 20 times. And then have to go and return it. And they had the, like, be kind, rewind logo on the back of the thing because, yeah, VHS cassettes, you had to rewind them and you were done. And like, some VCRs would, like, cover the screen with blue, so, like, sometimes you'd get a cassette that hadn't been rewound, so you'd have to rewind the whole thing, and, like, some VCRs would cover the screen in blue, so you wouldn't get spoiled by watching everything happen in reverse. Some wouldn't do that, so you'd see the whole thing in reverse and potentially get spoiled by future events of the movie. Well, you know, the events of the movie. Yeah, I mean, like, old memories and stuff, right? Yeah, just back in the day, like, back in my childhood, sometimes there'd just be nothing to do. And I say that that was, like, my childhood, like, no, gosh, that's a good point. How old was I when my grandparents moved? So I moved from one house that was really cool. It had like 4 stories to it. We had like the main floor and upstairs, a basement and a sub-basement. I just really liked it. It's like, you know, the grown-ups would be like on the main floor, doing their whatever stuff. I could go and, you know, play around in the basement. When, you know, the grown-ups wanted to use the basement for something, I could go play whatever in, like, the sub-basement, and... But then they moved, and I, of course, never saw that house again. Oh, well. So be it. I think I never actually went through the front door of that house. That's a fair point. Because the garage was, like, around the back, I think I only ever actually went in and out that place through the back door. I don't think I ever actually used the proper front door of that house. It's kind of weird to think about, but... Yeah, look. I'm just rambling at this point, aren't I? I mean, that's what this entire channel is about, right? Playing games and rambling? So many plants. So many potions and whatnots to make. I guess in a very real way, so much time to make them all, right? Yeah, back in the day, everything was always, like, just slow-paced. Like, oh yeah, we're going to go visit your cousin today. It's like, oh, when are we going? Yeah, later. Whatever. Or it'd be like, oh, hey, you know what? Let's go over and... let's go over to, like, so-and-so's place. Like, alright, sure. Just pop in, no warning. Nowadays, people expect warnings for when people are going to be coming around. Yeah, I used to have a friend back when I was in middle school who would sometimes just show over. Come over, show up. I'd just be there playing a game, and he'd just come to the door, and it's like, hey, let's hang out. And I'm like, alright. I offered to, you know, play my game with them. It was a co-op game. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna go read your manga. We're just gonna sit and, like, maybe chat a little, whatever. I still, I know I've talked about this, I still remember being, like, 7, 8 years old, living at my grandparents' place, different grandparents, and just, sometimes, I just wake up, and there'd just be another kid in my bed, like, just sitting there waiting for me to wake up. And it's like, oh cool, you're awake, let's go play. And I'd be all like, okay. No breakfast, no... I'd say, like, no getting, like, changed. But I wore my clothes to sleep. And I don't know, in some psychological sense, that might be why I still don't like to like wear pajamas or anything. Because I'm still so used to the idea of, hey, someone might, you know, be there when I wake up who wants my attention now, so I'd better be dressed and ready to go immediately. I don't want to be in pajamas, because then I'd have to get changed before I can go. And I need to be fully dressed, because someone's apparently probably gonna be watching me sleep. Something that doesn't really get talked about much that I have noticed, at least. It's like, people say, it's like, oh, well, you know, so, like, such and such tasks are, you know, difficult, or don't have the spoons to do a whole lot of tasks. It's like, I haven't really heard so much about just flat out getting bored of doing things too easily. Like, I know that I get too bored to do things sometimes. Heck, you can see in this very chat, like, I think that's almost the reason for it. That is the reason for this channel. I get too bored to play games, so I just stop playing games. So I have to force myself to continue at it, because if I didn't have this channel, I just had, you know, me time alone, whole world of opportunity, well, quote-unquote, a whole world of opportunity, available and ready to do whatever I wish with. Probably just, you know, watch YouTube and maybe anime all day. Like, we'll probably play, honestly, yeah, watch YouTube and play Commander all day, every day. That's like all I would do. Maybe I might eventually play a video game, but not likely. Wouldn't still be playing Rune Factory, I'll tell you that much. Probably would have played Rune Factory 5 when it came out to English. Came out in English. Yeah, but I probably would have just been in the game and then just dropped it. It's like, would never even consider doing the watering can only challenges. So many games would never have played. Crystal Project I probably would never have played if it wasn't for the channel. Because without the channel, I have basically no reason to keep an eye out for new upcoming games. But since I have the channel to be concerned about, I gotta, you know, keep an eye out. It's like, oh, would this game be fun to play? Would this game... Because if I'm going to have to play games anyway, I might as well play something fun. So it just becomes a case of, like, I'm only looking for games to play because I have to play games. If it wasn't for the channel, I wouldn't have found these fun games to play. And, like, that's just, like, it, really. Wouldn't have replayed Rune Factory 1, wouldn't be playing Rune Factory 2, wouldn't have played Tevi, wouldn't have played Coffee Talk. Just trying to think. Like, starting this channel has been really bad for my budget, but at least it's given me something to do. Spend about, what, 700 plus 730 hours a year playing video games. About 99% of that I wouldn't do. I'm not saying that I'd only play about 7 to 8 hours of games a year if it wasn't for the channel. Because I do play games, even video games, that I just flat don't record. Usually like tabletop sim. Yeah, I did some Civilization with Azura, I didn't record. But I mean, if I'm not recording it anyway, then it wasn't done for the channel anyway, like... I remember back when I got my, like, Steam, like, year in review thing. I should look that up again. You could actually see, like, when I was recording certain games, because you could see, like, the ebb and flow of various games I was playing, and it's like... it's like, oh yes, it's very interesting. You pretty much only ever play games in, like, hour increments. 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. Very rarely for, like, half an hour. Oh. Right. Pony. I started watching Gen 5. I played the Maritime Bay Adventure game, and that's in Gen 5. So then so I figured, well, that was aight. So I went and downloaded a whole bunch of Gen 5 episodes. Oh, calm down. They're generally speaking available for free online anyway. I just didn't have access to YouTube over the past week and a bit. So I downloaded them so I could actually watch them. YouTube or Netflix. I think that the episodes are on Netflix. Some episodes on YouTube, some are on Netflix. I don't know. Yeah, I'd heard so much about how Gen 5 absolutely sucks, but it's like, I mean, the same people said the same thing about, like, My Little Pony in general, without having actually seen it. So I figure, okay, I'll watch it and check for myself, and if it does suck, well, I'll know. But if it doesn't suck, then I've got a new show to watch, and it's like, it doesn't... Gosh, this is something I could actually talk about 10 minutes before the episode is over. It doesn't have quite the same appeal as Gen 4 had. It's missing a certain something. I don't know if that's in the animation style, if it's in how the story presents itself. Gen 4 started with a two-parter, like 2-episode opening. Gen 5 starts with a movie. And that movie, on its surface, like, on its level of watching it as a movie, could very well just flat out be a Disney movie. It has, like, the same plot beats that a Disney movie would absolutely have. Like, yeah, I don't want to go and spoil the whole thing for you, but it could just be a Disney movie. Like, if My Little Pony didn't exist, like, before that, like, if that was, like, the first My Little Pony thing ever, or say that's someone's first introduction to My Little Pony, like, they had literally never even heard of it before, then they watch that, they'd be all like, alright, yeah, that's a good show. It's like, yeah, sure, that's a movie, alright. It's like, oh, hey, there's a TV show about it as well. I mean, the movie was good, so the show should be good too, right? Unfortunately, the show does not stand up to the same level as the movie did. It's definitely more geared towards kids as a show, but it's weird because there's like 2 shows. There's Tell Your Tale, which is, I'd put it at the level of, like, say, Teen Titans Go kind of a thing. Like, it's a kid's show in that a character will completely abandon certain traits that they are known to have for the sake of an episode. A character who is usually decently honest will absolutely come up with just an insane lie just so they can learn a lesson about honesty. Because, oh, that's the lesson we're teaching kids this week. Be honest, because it's always the best policy, no matter what. It's like, yeah, that character is... And someone would say, it's like, oh yes, that'd be like an episode where Applejack lies about something and has to learn that she should have been honest instead. Cough, cough, the last roundup, cough, cough. And it's like, okay, yes, Applejack did have something of lies, but it was done differently. It was more, lies by omission rather than lies of just flat out lying. If she had sent a letter back saying, oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of blue ribbons, and my prize money will, pay for the... But it's just taking a while to actually get my prize money, but I'll be sure to send it once I get it. That'd be just, a flat-out lie. That, like... But instead she's all like, oh, sorry, folks, I'll send the money for the repairs, it'll just take a while. Lies by omission because she didn't say anything about getting blue ribbons or that it would be the prize money, just the money. A different style of lying that, as we had seen up to that point in the show, Applejack was certainly capable of doing. But it is important to teach that a lie by omission is still a lie, and that people can get angry at you for lying, even if you didn't technically lie. A very different lesson. And obviously the biggest change between generations is like the fan base community. Like, watching Friendship is Magic, and it's like, oh, it's like, hey, here's that background character, here's this background character, here's that. It's like, hey, you know, that's Lyra, who, like, the fandom likes to joke, is obsessed with humans. Hey, look, she's sitting on the bench differently than than how you'd expect a pony to sit on a bench. That's kind of silly. Funny background moment. That is a thing. Friendship is Magic does have a lot of funny background moments. You see characters just in the back. Sometimes you might see like two characters, you know, walk in the background, they bump into each other, look up at each other, kind of keep walking. I'm sure that happens at least once in the show, because the two background characters were too busy focusing on something else. They don't see each other, they walk into each other, they look at each other, and then they just keep going, because, like, whoops, I just walked into a pony. But the more simplistic style of animation of the Tell Your Tale series doesn't have that. And of course the Make Your Mark series is more, yeah, better animation style. And the characters aren't so one-dimensional, but it's still not quite there. Still has its own issues. I was watching one episode where essentially everyone wants to go and visit their family for Christmas, but one of them wants everyone to, like, you know, see a shooting star or whatever that's going to happen at a specific time. So what they do is they made a flying machine in the Tell Your Tale episode that aired shortly before this Make Your Mark episode. So you have to watch the episodes in a specific order. It's like episode 1 to 13, then Make Your Mark season 1, episode like 14 to like 22, and then Make Your Mark season 2, and it's like, could have just had Tell Your Tale be in seasons, but no. Alright, and don't die. Nope, okay. So too much. So yeah, it's like, okay, so they go over to, like, one person's thing where they spend, like, what feels like 3 hours there. Like, they go, it's like, okay, we don't have much time. They spend, like, 3 hours there. It's like, okay, we still, like, we're really short on time. Go to another place, spend, like, 7 hours there. It's like, okay, we're still running really low on time. And it's like, you know what you could do? Keep an eye on the time. Figure out how long it will take you to, you know, see the shooting star. Because apparently they have to be back in, like, the one person in, like, the main town to see the shooting star. Because apparently it's not visible anywhere else. Let's assume that's for some reason true, that they can't see the shooting star from any of the other places that they're going. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. But then it's like, we have one night, we have like a matter of hours to see it. Let's make a bunch of let's each make a gingerbread house and sit around chatting, having hot cocoa. let's watch a 7-act play. Let's... Yeah. It's like... Well, it's supposed to be a 3-act play, then at the last moment it's changed to a 7-act play. But, like, 2 of the main characters are in the play, so they can't just bail after 3 acts. But somehow they have to learn... No, I think it changed from 3 to 6. But... So they have to learn the other, like, 3 acts of the play in some unknown amount of time just before the play happens. And it's not like this is a play that they do all the time, because we saw them trying... We had seen one of them trying to rehearse earlier in this episode, and the other one had said that they had been rehearsing for at least the past few days to learn, you know, their part for this play. So obviously they've been trying it for a good while now. But then they learn, you know, the other half of the play in the time it takes the rest of the group to find out that it's actually going to be a 6-act play. I mean, like, if you really want to push the, oh, it's going to take twice as long thing, you could just have, and it would probably be even funnier if you're going for comedy on this, you know, show that I think is supposed to be a funny show. And yeah, if like at the like they do their 3-act play and then it turns out, oh hey, actually, turns out, you know, your microphones weren't on, so the audience couldn't hear you at all. Or, you know, oh no, something like weird and kind of stupid happened. So none of that play actually mattered. Or like, oh, you know, your grandmother came in, but she only came in to see like the very end of the play. You're going to re-perform the entire play for your grandmother, aren't you? You know, something like that. And it's like, oh, it's like obligated and have to do it again instead of, oh, actually, we're just going to double the length of the play. Here's a bunch of new lines to learn. I'm sure you'll memorize them in the time it takes you to perform the first 3 acts. Like, so many weird things like this. It's like, there were weird things in Friendship is Magic as well, but those weird things could easily be explained away. Why did Applejack have a whole family over and it happened to be on Summer Sun Celebration? Well, probably because they were there for the Summer Sun Celebration. And they all left right afterwards. Like, why did Applejack decide to lie by omission when she's literally the element of honesty? Because to some, lying by omission is not the same as just flat out lying. So she had to, you know, learn her lesson that no, lying by omission is in fact still lying and all that stuff. But the idea of watching a show whose purpose is to teach some life lesson on a constant basis is, like, I'm an adult, I know, don't lie by omission, you know, don't take things that don't belong to me, blah blah blah. Even if someone's pretending to be nice to me, they can still be a bad person either to me or to other people. Even if they say stuff like, oh, I'm the only person who will ever tolerate you. No, that's actually a bad thing to say to someone. And... shoot, wait. Someone is being that. Was that ponies or something else? I remember I was watching a show not that long ago where a character was literally doing that kind of stuff, like, oh, I'm the only person who will actually like you. Your friends just, you know, pretend to tolerate you. And that guy was, like, treated as being, like, good. Oh no, that's why it was an anime I was watching with Azura. It's like, oh yeah, everyone else is afraid of you, but I'm the only one who's not. So you should really like me. It's like, No, not everyone else is afraid of me. There are a few people who don't really understand who are afraid. But for the most part, people don't really care until something happens. And even then, they're scared for a little bit, and then they're fine. Like, they're only scared at the displays of power. They're not actually afraid of me. It's like, you're trying to gaslight me into believing that everyone hates me as an attempt to try to make me fall in love with you? You know, I thought those are the sorts of lessons that should be in kids' shows because a lot more people need to understand that just because someone is being nice doesn't make them a nice person. Anyway, whew, I got some phone calls to make.